The majority of Black women are not queens. You are paid government agents. You are empowered, but not in the way that you think. You teamed up with the government via government assistance, child support, legal filings, and they weaponized you against your own community and your own men. They sold you on being strong and independent, but really they just isolated you and set you up for further manipulation and failure. The system didn't free you. It actually programmed you to fight against your own, disrespect your men, and not respect your elders. You traded family for funding, and while you celebrated your freedom, your house just is slowly burning down, actually rapidly. Unfortunately, you're not raising children, you're actually programming them. Your daughters are repeating the same cycles as you, becoming baby mamas, involved in sugar daddy culture, whole culture, all of the above. And then your sons lack leadership, discipline, and self-control. So just no order at all, just all dysfunction, emotionality, and rage. You became the perfect weapon to inject the dysfunction right directly into your children, so they don't have to do it because you're doing it for them. But then you brag about your degrees and how you're the most educated and independent and strong and how you guys can take care of yourself, but your children can't read. Can we make that make sense? And as long as you keep choosing the system over Black men, you'll remain a non-player character, a program bot running down a government code, just raising the next generation of slaves. And this is why you lead in obesity, single motherhood, least likely to get married, least desirable, most likely to raise a criminal. It's because you're a product of the very system that you think you're outsmarting.
All right, shalom, shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
I want to start by giving all glory and praises to
YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, KAKADASH.
I read the brothers from down Tampa Florida, from the Tampa province in Babylon. All right, coming up quick here to the Spirit powered by SHAMAIWAN. Lord wanted to edify and feed the sheep. Double honor said I was an apostle, great millstone, teach you well. Peace and blessings to the brothers who push this work and true sincerity to this guy abroad. All right, me and the brother gonna bring this out, man, to the Spirit powered by SHAMAIWAN, touching up on this video. But before that, we're gonna grab the scripture, all right, because it's gonna touch up on what's going into it. Go ahead.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31 and verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou black sliding darter? For the Lord Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man.
All right, and in this video, all right, it's going to expound that, man. Okay, it's going to expound on what these women that have Eve, that, okay, have a certain position and how far this has exceeded to the point where what Eve has made those agreements with Esau, man. Okay, but hey, I'm gonna let this video play. Go from there.
You gotta reset it.
Yeah.
The majority of Black women are not queens. You are paid government agents. You are empowered, but not in the way that you think. You teamed up with the government via government assistance, child support, legal filings, and they weaponized you against your own community.
So she said you teamed up with the government, all right, and they weaponized you against your own community. Okay, so Eve is set at variance against her own family, her own house. Her job is to destroy her own house. That's why she called her a government agent. Okay, because the government used Eve to break down the chain of order in the household. Now you got the woman, the so-called Black woman, saying she don't need a man, God is her man.
Right, the government my baby daddy.
Yep. That's what these youthful bitches saying, and then the old woman, they saying God is their man. So they're skipping the chain of order. They completely blotted out the Israelite man and the Israelite woman's mind.
Yep.
Okay, so that's why she said you're a government agent. You set against your own family. You set against your own community, which is Israel.
Right.
Okay, they act like they're a whole completely separate race. They support nobody but themselves. Which
yep. And that's why you have these women that's in high position pertaining to the scripture, like being a judge, okay, or just in general having some type of authority, man. Okay, in this society, you have it where like the scripture says, a woman shall compass a man. So Esau is giving them that liberty to, as we see today. That's why everything's so jacked up. With these women, man, it comes confusion, man. Okay, in the household, everything is out of order. Okay, without the man. Okay, but now we're seeing that these things is just going left. All right, when it comes to these women, then you got this woman. It was Eve herself, but she's at least breaking it down to a point where you can tell, all right, what she's going into depth with when it comes to Eve. Starting with her, and then that trickles on down, man, throughout the tribes. Okay.
Yeah, and it also goes back to that covenant Eve made, man.
Right.
Okay, taking on the philosophies of the heathen, the devil. Okay, siding with the serpent, which is who Esau Edom. All right, to what? Get that, get a part in their kingdom later on, man.
That's why the scripture says, through her we shall all die.
Yep.
You know? Go ahead.
It's just like these celebrities. What they do, they sell out so that they can destroy their people, but they're going to be taken care of by these devils. And that's what Eve did. She sold out her own people to be taken care of by this devil. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which will not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter.
That's right, and that's why you have it where Eve be thinking about herself, man. Okay? Eve be thinking about herself. Look how these women act now in these households, man, without the man there. If the man is there, she ain't got no respect for the man. She disrespect the man, okay? Yep. Even when it comes to her kids, man, she look at them and she want to leave them with somebody else, or she just, you know, pretty much ain't caring for her young. Okay, that's why the scriptures go to, describing our women as like animals, like an ostrich. Yeah. Okay, who don't care for her, what she's stepping on. Okay, that's
crushing
our little ones. Okay, because what these women are completely out of order, man.
Yeah.
Okay, and they don't care. Okay, and you'll see that in the local ghettos. Okay, in the projects, how Eve is. She be quick to leave her young at home and go party. All right, and she gonna expound on this videos more.
Shit, the Christian church.
Yep.
Okay, they say the last step of a hoe is religion. You know, the last phase of a hoe, is religion. All right, and you see a lot of these middle-aged Eve women at the Christian church. All right, thinking that they independent. Oh God, my man. Those all the God, my man women in the church, man. They don't know what's going on in there. They got a sodomite pastor, okay, teaching them right from wrong when he don't even know fucking right from wrong, man. He sexually abusing his own children, and then he teaching you women that you can skip the man and go straight to the Lord. No, there's a chain of order that the Lord set up, and that's why we brought out that a woman shall compass a man, because now these women are in a position over us.
Yeah.
It says, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear.
Right, and that's why you'll be seeing Eve putting down her own children, man. You know, you'll see on some tragedy that just happened on the news. She done threw the baby in the oven or some shit, man. You know, or woman got tired of the baby, she done threw it out, threw the car seat, threw the baby out on the interstate.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
All right, or she done got tired. She done poisoned the husband, and poisoned the kids, and then killed herself.
Wow, yeah.
That's the state of these women today, man. Once again, started with Eve. You know. Yeah. Going back to the scriptures. Okay, I'm gonna play a little bit more of this video if you got any more.
Yeah, you got it.
Go on.
In your own men. They sold you on being strong and independent, but really they just isolated you and set you up for further manipulation and failure. The system didn't for you. It actually programmed you to fight against your own, disrespect your men, and not respect your elders. You traded family for funding, and while you celebrate your freedom, your house just is slowly burning down, actually rapidly. Unfortunately, you're not raising children, you're actually programming them. Your daughters are repeating the same cycles as you, becoming baby mamas, involved in sugar daddy culture, whole culture.
And that spouting on the scripture itself too. Because these women don't know how to rule a household, man. That's why the man is there. They don't know how to have control over these children, man. Okay? That's why the man is there. It sets the standards, set the structure. Okay? When you look at it like when a man is actually ruling the household, you got the kids in order, you got the woman in order. Okay? Everything's in order. But because you have where today's way of how society's being ran, where Esau is giving these women so much liberty that there isn't no structure in the household. Okay, and that's why you have it where they are all full of assistance, you know, with Jake in it, because what? There is no structure in the households, man. So that she runs straight to the government, get all these benefits and assistance. She goes into it, child support, okay, Section 8, all these things, because they wholeheartedly depend on these things when it comes from Esau, man. Scripture says never to trust our enemy. But our own woman has become our enemy, man. Proceeding to Micah 7 and 10, which you want to grab? You got something?
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 16, verse 44. Speaking of how she said the daughters grow into a whole culture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they grow to be thoughts, pretty much demons, like the mom. It says, "Behold," Ezekiel 16 and 44. "Behold, everyone that useth proverbs shall use this proverb against thee, saying, As is the mother, so is her daughter." So just as the mother is, so is the daughter, man. Okay, so a family without a household in it, or without a man in the household, and it's ran by the woman, she gonna destroy those children. Okay, and she goes into it. The woman, the daughter's getting raised up to be harlots. The son's getting raised up to be criminals.
Right. Hey, and that being a proverb amongst our people. That's why you see it where you always have Jake having some type of saying that's similar to like the scripture says, just as the mother is going to be just a child. The mama was a hoe, daughter going to be a hoe. You know, you watch the old movies and you had like the pimp who was pimping the mama, and then she had kids or whatever. He ended up pimping the daughter, man. Okay, so our you know, you have this generation, okay, it's all jacked up. That's why you got these sexy reds and Megan Thee Stallions and etc. And you got the mama shaking the ass, and then you see the baby shaking the ass, daughter shaking the ass.
Oh my god.
The whole thing is just jacked up, man.
You see the mama wearing cumbrellas, and you got the daughter, the baby girl
wearing cumbrellas, getting all these certain piercings, okay, dressing up provocative. Girl look 15, 16, 17, and it goes up dressing provocative, knowing that they mother should be dressing modestly, but they don't do that nowadays, man.
So she has groomed her daughter to be a whore before her daughter can even make decisions.
And that's what you see in the monks and in the slums and the ghettos, okay, of our people, man. This is something that is turned into a fashion in a way, turned into a living lifestyle, man. Jake has taken this type of you know, taking on that kind of weight, for the lack of better words, man. Okay, go ahead.
That was it.
Yeah.
All of the above. And then your sons lack leadership, discipline, and self-control. So just no order at all. Just all dysfunction, emotionality, and rage. You became the perfect weapon to inject the dysfunction right directly into your children, so they don't have to do it because you're doing it for them. But then you brag about your degree.
Hey, and right, you know, so Esau has turned you into his own pet, okay, his own weapon. These women have become a weapon against the men in the household, okay. They, in general, just a weapon in towards men in society that's so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native American, man. Okay, our people, man. When you look at a woman, they just all jacked up and dysfunction, man.
Yeah.
You know, mentally, minds all scrambled. You know, she can't get it together at all. But when it come to her, you know, wanting to get her nails done, hair done, okay, when it come to her what she needs, oh yeah, she's all for it. You see, that's why these women are through, man.
Yeah, the scripture talks about it. I would rather dwell in the corner of a housetop, in the corner of my attic, and dwell in a house with a mansion, than to be in a mansion with a brawling woman, a wicked woman, a dragon. Scripture calls these women dragons, man.
Right.
Okay, I'd rather dwell with a dragon and a lion than to take house with a wicked woman, man.
Right.
Because these women you gonna come home and you're just gonna feel like you fighting a sword. And the woman's supposed to be your pillar of peace. She really gonna be your pillar of hell.
Exactly.
Okay, you already got to fight the world. You got to go out there and conquer the world. And when you go home to your little cubby to rest, you got a demon in there. And she's that demon is your woman. That's why brothers be saying, yeah, I got to get back to my demon. You know, because they're being tormented by this woman. Okay, demons torment. Okay.
Yep. Hey, and we only got so much of a time, okay, and space to where you go home after you done dealt with the whole entire world. You go home and you gotta deal with that shit right in your own tent. You know, it's already tight, and motherfuckers making it tighter. You see,
Yeah. When you gotta battle your own woman, like brother said, it's already a tight space. That fight every day that you gotta go through with that woman gonna make that space feel a lot tighter. It's gonna make your happy place feel like your place of hell. It's gonna feel like the job. Then before you know it, your workplace is gonna be your happy place. That's why motherfuckers be saying it's my second home.
Right.
All right, because they got a demon at their house. They're trying to run from her ass, trying to escape. The scriptures say, "He that pleaseth the Lord shall escape from her."
Yeah.
Okay, that's what most of our people are dealing with women that they just can't escape from. They got them bound to them by child support, bound to them by all these government rules and government requirements that they've taken up with the devil and put against the man. So I should say our women are weaponized against us.
Hey, I was watching a video this Eve going to say, she was like, she expounded on it. She was like, she was like, y'all, I took one for the team. And she was saying how she took one of the team and she wanted to go ask one of these heathen women to be more specific. She asked Edomite, which is one of these white women, right? She was like, how do you maintain your man, your husband?
They just can't even keep a man.
Exactly.
They congregating about how to keep a man.
Yep. And it was Eve.
And we the problem.
And she was wondering, and she said, she pretty much shut up. She let the man be a man, and she do her fucking job. That's how she keep a man. You know? And she was like, just that simple? It was that easy?
Look. And she summed it up for her perfectly.
Yep.
She said 1,000,000 words in just a few.
Yep. And that's all. Hey, and that's it's just that simple, man. Just shutting the fuck up, let her do what you gotta do, and you do what you gotta do. But
you gonna maintain your husband.
That's how you maintain your husband.
That's how you keep your husband, bro. You said it beautifully, bro. Because brothers be fighting with these women, man. Okay, you got men of our people, Jake, and actual brothers. Shit, I'm speaking for myself first and foremost. We're gonna fight with these women, and we got to break shit down. We take hours to break shit down to these women to tell them how to serve us properly. Right. And she broke it down and 1,000,000 words down in just a few.
Just
okay.
A few seconds to a minute, man.
And really? She said, really? That's all it takes?
That's it.
She gonna go home and throw that shit away. Throw that whole advice away.
Forget it all. And most of these women ain't gonna take heed to that.
Yeah.
But you know who will take heed to that? These heathen women, man.
Right. That's why we ain't really worry about you. You scrubs, man.
Right.
I got a precept.
Goddamn dragons and goddamn hyenas. You got it.
Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9. The scripture also say, like brother said, fucking dragons, man. Because scripture also say, evil woman is a yoke shaken to and fro. All right. You want to grab it?
No, you got it. I'll break it down.
An evil woman is a yoke shaken to and fro. So she's like your prison, man. Okay. Threatening to put you on child support if you leave her.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a definite, man.
Call the police on you and tell them that you've been abusing her. You ain't do nothing to her. She destroying your possessions.
I was watching
and saying that you're abusing her.
Hey, that's the spirit call. I watched the video on this famous YouTuber. I can't remember his name. I believe it was something JC, but CJ something. But he was like, you had Eve. She was pretty much claiming that he was hitting her and doing all this, and he had on record. And she was attacking his phone, hitting his phone. He was picking it up. He was like, see, and she was like, oh, you know, you hit me, and you did all this.
Oh.
And guess what? He was asking the kids, like, did I do anything? Did I do this? And the kids was just sitting there silent. And then the little girl, she started lying. She was like, yeah, they're just laughing and giggling. And she was the mama was telling him to say that he did that on camera.
Talking about see ya. He said,
say you did that. Say
as a mother is, so is the daughter.
I said, come on, man.
That's horrible. That's very toxic for the children's minds as they develop.
Right.
They're gonna grow up with that, and it's gonna stick with them, and they're gonna do the same thing to their mate. And that's how you destroy a people.
Yep.
Okay. You know, people are destroyed by the state of their woman.
And you know, Esau has taken great measure into looking into that. Okay. Because he's studied the way how these women move, man.
They're wiser than Daniel.
Right. And you see how he's got majority on who are majority on these assistance and benefits and things like that. Yeah, you might see majority of majority of people, but you know Jake take a full part of that. Okay. which they are more affected by it, okay, pertaining to those curses, okay. But so with that being the case, you have Esau utilizing that to his benefits, man, and it used the woman to destroy the household and everything else that comes with it. That's why they be feminizing everything, man. Okay. You got
Isaiah, this book of Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9. I'll grab it in NIV. It says, "You women who are so complacent, rise up and listen to me. You daughters who feel secure, hear what I have to say."
right. Take heed to this word. Take heed, because guess what? This is pertaining to you. Do the spirit prayer about SHAMAIWAN. Go ahead.
Hey, the NLT says, "Listen, you women who lie around in ease. Listen to me, you who are so smug."
And these women right now, man, they have it so good. Esau has provided everything for you. You can sit back, kick your feet up, sleep around with many men you want without getting trouble by it. You could just be a harlot in the streets and just do whatever. You know. Go ahead.
I got a definition of smug. It says, having or showing an excessive pride in oneself or one's achievements.
And that's the first thing Eve do.
Right.
You know, I got this. I did this myself.
I got a bachelor's degree.
Hey, I took care of my kids. I did this. I did the profitable as hell.
With child support.
But you did that with government assistance.
Yeah.
You did that with all these type of assistance.
Yep.
If you didn't have those assistants, you had to depend on one person. Would you be able to do it then?
No.
So what the hell you barking about? The hell you talking about? But because this place gives them that much to say, these women speak proudly, man. Go ahead.
Synonyms for smug is superior, puffed up, self-approving.
Puffed up. Eve would get puffed up real quick. I was watching the video and she said, oh, she was out there being proudful as hell, talking about F the baby. Eve just went into a Planned Parenthood, killed the baby, came out and said F the baby, drinking on Bacardi. And the girl that was listening to her talk, she said, damn, you sound like a nigga. Because these women have a masculine spirit upon them today, man. Okay? They puffed up. You being so proudful enough, you talking about after baby. Who showed you how she is towards her young?
Right.
Showed you how she is towards her the one that she slept down with and did that with. These women don't care.
Demons.
That's why the scripture says in the KJV where it expounds on it, when it says, let me see right quick. Just getting it said, ye careless daughters. So these women are careless. But you got it, bro.
NLT 32, Isaiah 32 and 10 says, in a short time, just a little more than a year, which was back in our homeland, it says, you careless ones will suddenly begin to care.
You careless ones will suddenly begin to care. Suddenly, so something's gonna have to happen where you're gonna suddenly get right. You want to suddenly start catching getting the point
immediately.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, like some shit gonna hit the fan. Soon as shit hit the fan, these women gonna start to care what we was
gonna have a reality check.
Oh, my husband, I shouldn't have left. I should have stayed. Yeah, the niggas that's dogging you now. Okay, you left that man of the Lord, or you left that man that was securing you and taking care of you because you wanted to be a thought in the streets, or you thought that your whatever you had going on mattered most. You put yourself before your husband and your kids. All right, now you out here alone.
You'll have it where a woman will sit here and you'll have they go to these interviews on these podcasts and they ask them questions like, why did you leave this man for this and this and that? What was the problem? And she'll say, oh, he wasn't making enough money. Well, then they ask her certain questions like, was he making money, period? Yeah. Was it similar to amount? Yeah. But it just wasn't more than me. Bitch, the man was making money.
Right.
You see? Oh, because he ain't had this materialized things. See, these women gonna realize that none of that shit gonna matter when all hell breaking loose.
Because they in a world full of pick and choose right now.
Exactly.
Where the woman can pick and choose. They got the option. There used to be a world where a man can pick and choose. But now we're in a world where a woman can pick and choose. And that's what that scripture you brought up, you brought up in the beginning.
Yeah.
a woman shall compass a man. Because now they've got the chance to pick and choose, and that power is in their, that authority is in their hands right now, because this world is fashioned after them.
Exactly. That's how this that's how it's set up today, man.
Yeah.
You said it beautiful. Go ahead.
But it's about to change. It says, "For your fruit crops will fail, and the harvest will never take place. Whew. Tremble, you woman of ease. Throw off your complacency. Strip off your pretty clothes and put on burlap to show your grief."
So that verse 10 and 11, okay, expound on it. It's going to be a period of time where you women are going to be in great trouble. You're going to lose all that, getting your hair done, getting your weave done, getting all these things done, you're getting your beauty touch up. Soon it's going to come to a time where you ain't going to be able to clean yourself up, go bathe yourself.
Well, you already got it where they exposing their designer clothes. And that's these bitches' fashion models.
Right.
When a woman wearing designer clothes, she feels like she's at her best.
Right.
But they just came out and told you that shit was really cheap. Dirt cheap.
Dirt cheap.
They make it in the Chinese factories for dirt cheap. And they just put a new name on it. And they say it's coming from Europe and Italy, but really, they just shipping it from China after they make it to Europe and Italy so they can put their name on it and send it to you for thousands of dollars.
Right, because it's used as a brand. They might use high quality material, then put that brand to that name on it and make your ass pay something they pay 50 cents, maybe $1 or $2 for, make you pay thousands of dollars for it. You stupid.
Foolish woman.
And who you see more of the who you see more of the buyers when it comes to that? Okay, for the brand. I watched a video a minute back. It was a Jake explain. It was Edomite explaining how Jake will be that docile to go buy something because of the materials of it and the brand name of it, that to the point where they'll go purchase all that, not even knowing, they're the main ones who are going to be buyers of it. Instead of looking into it and being the one who can be consuming money from it. You see, our people are backwards, lazy in a way. Okay, simple. But not to get off track, the point is that majority of these women have to, get all this stuff to make themselves feel of high quality. Yep. Okay? But all that shit about to be put to an end. Soon you ain't gonna be able to clean yourself downstairs. You're gonna be in a stench like no other.
That's why that one of the synonyms for that word smug was self-approved or self-gratifying, self-congratulatory, because these women only need their own approval. That's in their mind. They need to approve themselves. They feel like they're approved if they get this, and that, and now they the shit. No, okay. That's why these women are now 40 years old, crying on live, the same live they was twerking on, talking about they still ain't got no husband.
Right.
Talking about no men are showing up to these dating events. Now they got to go to dating events. They got to go on dating apps and plaster up all their possessions. I got this designer. I got this car. I got this house and this and that. Well, now you made yourself look like a god or a king or so-called queen. Nobody wants you, because that means that whoever you're targeting is going to have more than that. And if they got more than that, they clearly don't want your ass. Right. All right. And these men are picking and choosing women that's younger,
or even going across seas.
Yeah, exactly.
Going across seas, getting one of these the other
passport
nations.
bros.
Yeah, get one of these, and then the woman said, "We trying to figure out why these other women nations, to put it like that, are taking up our man, our black man, because your ass don't get right, because your ass don't shut up and listen and do what you gotta do. That's why."
Well, yeah. Why don't you go and do the research in it? Okay, these women are more, they're more towards the old ways than the new ways. Babylon is all about the new way, because they're gonna bring forth that new world order, and they're all about change and new things in the earth. Okay, but these other nations are closer to the old ways. Scripture says, "Seek out the old ways, wherein is the right way."
See, an old path.
The old path, the water. I got scripture. So you want to play the video a little bit more? Oh, you got something?
There's some more on that.
No,
that was it. Okay,
yeah.
All right, I'll play a little bit more of this video.
And so they don't have to do it because you're doing it for them. But then you brag about your degrees and how you're the most educated and independent and strong and how you guys can take care of yourself, but your children can't read. Can we make that make sense? And as long as you keep choosing the system over black men, you'll remain a non-player character. a program bot running out of government code, just raising the next generation of slaves. And this is why you lead in obesity, single motherhood, least likely to get married, least desirable, most likely to raise a criminal. It's because you're a product of the very system that you think you're outsmarting. The majority of...
Sheesh.
You are a product of a system that you think you are smarting. And these women think they outsmarting the system, and your ass a part of the system.
Right. She said you an NPC, a non-playable character. You're a fucking bot. You're a part of the system. And they don't even realize it. That's that's scary.
And that's what brings me to this scripture right here. This is Micah chapter 7, verse 10. I'm reading the NLT. It says, then my enemies, where it says, matter of fact, KJV, and then we're reading NLT. It says, then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, it says, where is the Lord YAHAWASHI thy power? My eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. Right. So these women which the scripture says is our enemies, because we clearly can see why, they're going to be trodden down as mire in the streets, like dung shit, in other words. All right, in the streets, because of what? The pride on these women, man, and etc. You see, your ex or the woman that was mocking and scoffing you, you know, these women gonna feel it in that day, man. Okay, you just gonna play with Lord's men and then think you gonna get away scot-free, man. Nah, she gonna feel it, and then that day she gonna know. Damn, when you see all hell breaking loose. That's why the scriptures say, well, that's how they know that a prophet have been among them. You see? Because these people gonna come to reality, man. They're gonna have a reality check when they realize all of these things we've been talking about, catching hell for, is gonna come to pass, and the Lord's gonna come through for us, man. Okay? Especially when it comes to these stinking ass skunks, these Eves, man. Okay? They gonna feel it. But I'm gonna read that in NLT. It says, then thy enemies will see that the Lord YAHAWASHI is on my side. Okay, they're gonna see that the Lord on our side, you know, on our defense, man.
Right.
They will be.
Right now it's looking like the Lord on these Edomite side, but he really on our side.
Right.
And that's why the woman running to these Edomites, because she see that they got power right now. Really, the true power is with us. That's true power. Yep. Okay. But these women are about to experience that now. They're about to experience it when this devil cut off those benefits. You already got Trump talking about cutting off federal funding, cutting off all these government agencies, child support funding, food stamp, for all that shit getting cut. What you gonna do then? Now you got videos of women, these Eve women, these black dragons dropping videos of we gotta get back to our black man.
Yeah.
Nah, don't come back. Nah, you done did all that funky coochie shit. Now you want to come back? No. Hey, that ain't flying, man. Right. You woman gonna get drug out there. That's why the scripture say, now shall she be trodden down as a mire in the streets. Mire is horse shit. You ever seen a parade when horses be walking and just shit? They just shitting.
They be trodden over like
and horse
over it.
Yep, exactly. You're gonna be used and abused in those days, man. Okay, you're not gonna be your beauty is not gonna be your value in that day. Nobody gonna care. Your beauty is gonna be your biggest enemy. Okay? Oh, that's a fun one. That's a fun one.
Ooh, you said something.
They're going to get passed around the most.
You said your beauty going to be your worst enemy in that day.
Right now, it's their biggest asset. Right now, that's their biggest glory is their beauty. But that's going to be your biggest enemy. That's going to be the bait. That's what's going to set you up in that day. You a fine-ass Jake woman, guess what? You're going to get passed through the whole city. They're going to sell your ass for cans of peaches.
Hey, and just because, see, now these women use their body, okay, as a way to get what they want. Where in that day, your body's just going to be getting tossed around like for anybody else's wants.
Yeah.
Because you ain't gonna have no defense, or you ain't gonna have no one to protect you in that day.
You fat black woman gonna get raped too, so don't think you spared. Don't think you spared because you overweight.
These people
your ass gonna lose weight through the famine.
When these people got demons on them, they gonna ravish whatever they want, man.
Right.
That's why you gonna need a man of the Lord, man. If you ain't gonna have if you don't have that, you gonna be asked out.
Yep.
That's why Isaiah 4:1 is gonna take place, man.
Yeah.
All right, because a lot of these women gonna realize like this was going into it. They're gonna have to get in line. They're gonna have to come into that reality.
They're gonna have to humble down.
They're gonna humble down. They're gonna be like, oh shit, I can't be how I was. Okay, I can't do this how I was. I gotta straighten up.
Yeah.
You see, and now a troublesome time like that's gonna have to humble you, woman. That's why you're gonna be in straight distress. Because no man gonna be willing to take you in, man, just because you got a pretty face and maybe a nice body.
Yep.
In that day, people gonna be thinking about themselves and their
survival.
Their survival.
And you're gonna be used to help them survive. They're not.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna come across. You're gonna just randomly come across a man of the Lord that's gonna actually truly take care of you in that day.
No.
That's gonna have to be gifted to you of the Lord. YAHAWASHI, if you be that 1/3 woman. All right. But the brother says something. You ain't gonna get away scot free. Okay, you can be ugly all you want. You can be fat, bad body. You can be disabled, handicapped. These men still gonna grape you, man. Okay, the scriptures say a whoremonger. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. Okay, so he don't care what you look like. That bread's still gonna be sweet to him.
He gonna use your ass
and abuse your ass. And you're gonna be set up. These women gonna be used for traps. Okay, they're gonna be used for bargain deals.
Hey, it's locking them to cut you off, but you seen that in what movie? The Book of Eli.
Yep, exactly.
And you was that woman.
Beautiful. I was just thinking of that. It's a spirit.
She was sitting there in the middle of the fields. Please help. And she was used to lure into somebody what they wanted.
Yep.
You see, whatever they desired, that whoever came across it was because it was using that woman to lure them in for whatever they desired or they wanted.
And you could tell the difference between a righteous man and a wicked man in that movie. All the men were wicked, but when you seen the first righteous man, everybody knew he was different because he wasn't reacting the same way everybody else did. He didn't act upon self-indulgence. And there's going to be a lot of self-indulgence, a lot of self-caring in that day, a lot of people just filling their own bellies. They doing it for their own survival. Okay, but a righteous man ain't gonna care about none of that shit. A wicked man gonna fall for every trap, bro. You gonna see a woman, he gonna say, oh yeah. But the righteous man, you walk right by her, they like, yo, who is this man?
Well, that's what's gonna set. That's what's gonna set. Set us apart.
Exactly.
Okay? Brothers moving in the spirit compared to people who are moving in the flesh. Accordingly, man.
And people gonna want to follow you for that.
Exactly. That's what the scripture Isaiah 33:6. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability in that time, and the strength of salvation, and fear of the Lord is his treasure, man.
I got
okay. Paraphrase. I'm gonna finish this up right quick. It says, they will be ashamed that they taunted me, saying, so where is the Lord YAHAWASHI, that power of yours? So they're going to be ashamed that they even said these things, because now they're going to have to face what we were just telling them that was going to come through the spirit of YAHAWASHI. It says, with my own eyes, I will see their downfall. They will be trampled like mud in the streets. So you're going to see those same ones that despise and talk shit, okay, get trampled over. It could be a crowd of people stepping all over till she just smushed in. All right, or it could be her getting dragged into a damn dark alley. Bro was about to do a lesson on it. We couldn't find it.
Beautiful.
But this goddamn woman was getting dragged into a goddamn room or somewhere.
Yeah, she was trying to go into the house, the door of her own apartment. You can see the camera that was recording at the top of her door. And some big ass Jake came in a hoodie right down the stairs from the upper floor behind her. She didn't even notice him. He came so swiftly. And she was trying to get in that apartment door. Her friend, he opened the door for her, pushed her in there, grabbed the friend from behind the door with one hand, and swung this bitch into the room too and slammed the door. And it all happened in a matter of seconds. Okay? And those women it was over for those women. Okay? It ain't no getting up and getting past him and getting out the door. The way he manhandled those women, you can tell they weren't going nowhere, man.
Well, it shows you women gonna be powerless. That's why the scripture says you are what? The weaker vessel. So yeah, you can talk all the shit you want. Yeah, you can act real bad and boo. I mean, not bad. I was thinking about bad and bougie, but you can act all bad and bold because you know you got 911 on speed dial. But when you ain't got 911 on speed dial and you ain't got no man on your side, we gonna see. We're going to see, man. All right? That was on that?
God.
That was it on this right here. You got it.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 7 in the NLT. In all history, there has never been such a time of terror. It will be a time of trouble for my people Israel. So in all history, ain't never been a time like this. This is gonna be a time. This is gonna be Jacob's trouble. And if this time is gonna be so terrible, right? And it's never been this terrible before. If this time gonna be so terrible, how much more for you women? There was a video of a woman coming out, and she was doing a video saying how if an apocalyptic event happens, they did a survey. Who will be at most danger? And the top answer was women and children. Okay, so you women and children are gonna be at most danger. But really, the first answer was the woman. You women are gonna be at most danger because these men are gonna be able to do whatever they want to, without no law enforcement, without no repercussions, without no punishments. They're gonna be able to do whatever they want to.
Yep.
They're gonna be motherfuckers gonna be bargaining these women. They're gonna have IG models. Oh, you remember back when IG was alive? Yeah, this is that one IG model. I'll give it to you for 3 cans of peaches.
Or OnlyFans.
Yep.
These women will be OnlyFans models.
You sick harlots.
You women that be having that cause
it's gonna be the worst. Hey, bro, the worst.
Yourself.
The more wicked they are, the more harlot they are, the worse it's gonna be for them, bro.
Yeah.
The Lord said y'all gonna be used and abused, gonna be used up like a dry rag and keep getting used. You ever try to use a dry rag to clean up dog shit? That's how these women gonna be used up, huh?
Smeared.
It's just getting worse. It ain't going nowhere. It's just getting worse and worse. You know? Yep. So, hey, it says, yet in the end they will be saved. So in the end, are people gonna be saved through the elect? All right? That means you women gotta get right with the program. You women gotta right in order. And you see our woman, you got our woman, a lot of women already speaking up because of the times we're in.
Yeah.
All right? You see that 1/3 woman, that 1/3 woman waking up as well. Okay.
Yeah, women that know they're gonna have to come to terms.
Yeah.
With these things, man.
Exactly.
They thought they just trying to get into. They just trying to They just trying to enroll right now.
Right. They trying to empower, and then exactly, bro. You said it. They trying to enroll right now. They trying to get their seats set up.
Yeah,
they got the VIP tickets.
Getting all.
You got to get right. We got to get right, girls. Because what? We in the last days. Yeah. You got the elect waking up, and the elect prophets to 144,000. They waking up, and you got these women, 1/3 women waking up too, and you got them getting together and making children. Exactly. And those children go what? You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's all leading up to one event, which is the end. Effect. Okay. YAHAWASHI pulling up, arriving and beaming up his people. He already setting up his people that's gonna be in the kingdom first, bro.
Yeah.
They already here. Scripture say there be some of you standing here today that should not taste of death.
Yeah.
So, though for those first fruits in the kingdom are already here on earth today, getting ready to rule, man.
Yeah.
You see him as homeless men on the side of the street preaching
regular
the Bible,
man.
Regular men,
crazy
men at
man.
work, right? Crazy men, some random dude. Nah, man. This is gonna be the same guys you see getting beamed up into a chariot while you getting torched to death, man.
Be like, oh, he look that crazy, cause he ain't my type. Them type of.
Right.
Remember that? Ain't the type.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, back in the day, these bitches couldn't have types.
Yeah.
It was the men who had types. Yeah, she's not my type. She's not my speed. I'm gonna go check out the other one. You know? The man was picking and choosing, and the woman had to sit there. Hey, these fucking pop the balloon shows is wicked as fuck.
Yeah.
You got men standing there, and the woman come out, or Salaki, you got women standing there with the balloons, and the men come out, and they get to pop the balloon if they like them or not. And if you listen to the reasons they pop their balloons, which is eliminates the fact of them getting chosen. If you see the reason why these women are popping their balloons on these men, it's
for small shit, man.
It's ridiculous, man.
Dumb.
I didn't like the way his belt was hanging. I didn't like the way his shoes were. I don't like those kind of shoes. I can't do them if he ain't got the right kind of shoe. And a lot of these women pop on impulse because they know they ain't gonna get chosen. It'd be the ugly bitches popping too. But besides the fact these women got power on their side, and we're about to see that be stripped from them.
Right.
Okay, and you women about to suffer major and grievously in the times we're coming into, and that's really the topic of the lesson.
And like the brother said, man, you know, the roles gonna flip. You know, we about to be Chris Tucker and goddamn Rush Hour 2, picking on what we want, man. You know?
That's right.
Let me get her. Let me get her too. Matter of fact, her, she look good. Ooh.
Right, or Eddie Murphy in the beginning of that Coming to America movie.
Yeah. You know, we gonna have the best of the best, man, of the crop. So you either you women get in line now, or find out later, man.
Yep.
That was the point. That's all I had.
Beautifully said, King. Hey, so with that, we truly hope this lesson was edifying to you. Akim not wath, listen to truth and sincerity. So next time, Mashallah, we're going to give all glory, honor, and praises unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, and Kakadash. Shalom.
Shalom.